Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Trigger. I'm your host, Zachary Clark, and you all know my co-host, Adam. Everything's fake Furman.
Hey, a new nickname.
Yeah.
New nickname.
One for every day of the week, my friend.
A new nickname.
Nude nickname?
There we go. Here's another one. Just chalk them up.
Oh, it's the Reaper sauce. And with that, we're coming to you live from the ever-expanding collar of Jason Kidd. In fact, let's go ahead and just check in on that. That's not that big. Not that big at all. Oh, wait. It's gotten marginally larger. Oh, it's ever expanding. It just keeps growing larger.
They're napkins now.
Wow, this guy's Jason Kidd's collar is enormous. Why? How does it keep on growing? Why is it growing so huge? Oh my god!
He's like an airplane.
Body. Jason Kidd's about to lift off with the size of his massive, ever-expanding collar, from which we are currently broadcasting. It's taking up the entire screen. I don't even know how we can see it to get him. Oh, we should back off. You might see it. It's right down here. It's still growing. Adam, Jason Kidd's collar is growing out of control. It can't be stopped. It just keeps getting bigger. Anyway, I'm sure nothing will come of that, but we'll go ahead and check back in on it in a little while. That was just something delightful that I had come across. And, by the way, because we skipped last week, I went ahead and just ran it back. So we've got everything from last week that we were going to talk about queued up. And
we're doing a 2-for-1 again.
It's the trouble with this sort of thing is that life comes at you fast, buddy, and all this stuff is old news now. But everything old is new again, especially stuff from the
It's that guy on. Oh, they're like Gungan. Boston ass.
Scanner radio.
Oh, please don't like that.
Sixth and Payson. Report of a female attempting to hit a male. QPD in area. No problem found.
What?
See, this is what happens.
What's
Women are just bad at fighting. They can only attempt to hit males.
Not always true. Because there's also that. There's also, as you're well aware, of when something actually happens, and then it's like, oh well, that's actually not assault. That's actually not domestic battery.
I wouldn't know anything about a girl wrapping a belt around her fist and punching a guy in the face.
He probably deserved it.
It's not something that I've ever experienced firsthand, Adam.
That was an oddly specific denial. It's almost like being oddly specific in your denial.
Just like if a president
leads me to believe that it actually is happening.
We're to go into the hospital for treatment for an infection, but don't worry, everybody, it's not coronavirus. Believe us, because we told you. Hey, and we were just talking about this, but the new Strat, unloading it for the first time live to the public. Everything is fake. And it doesn't matter what it is. You can be in the same conversation with somebody and they can tell you that, for example, Bill Clinton is not infected with the coronavirus, and you say, I obviously think he is. Just because you said he isn't, now I automatically believe the opposite is true. Because whatever I'm told is a lie. But if they were to say...
It's so strange, because it's like, oh, president is hospitalized. And it's like, okay, that happens from time to time because they're older, and whatnot. But it's like, breaking news, Bill Clinton hospitalized, but not for coronavirus. Don't worry, it's not coronavirus, and he's hospitalized. Thank you very much. I'm like, well, it's obviously now I think it's coronavirus.
Yeah, but then they might come out and they'll say, actually, turns out he does have coronavirus. And I'm like, I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
HIV.
I went from believing 100% that it was to now 180. No way. He can't have it now. It's been reported.
Yeah.
Fake.
Syphilis or whatever.
It's all fake. We got a comment in the chat. Like that time that girl beat you up.
That's to you.
I don't know who that's to. That could be to anybody. It could be anybody either in the chat or on the show.
Beat you up.
Yeah.
I don't know. One or two punches. I don't know what that means.
It's not time. It's not time to unload that story. I'm not ready to unpack it yet.
Yeah, don't worry, Zach.
And I've had TMJ to this day.
A what?
I've had jaw problems ever since.
Oh, okay.
That chick unloaded on me. Anyway. From the inbox. I was wondering if you could post this and see if anyone could recognize these kids on St. Anthony Road. Pretty sure they come from Half-Pap Trailer Park. They walked to my house at 3 a.m. and threw ears of corn at my house and banged on the garage door. They do this all the time. But the cops can never figure out who they are.
Again?
Oh, these dang corn-wielding miscreants.
They need a nice,
terrorizing these people.
They need a nice dastardly name to go along. Like Corn Banditos or something.
Sheila just thinks they should be called the Children of the Corn, like that terrible film.
I've never seen that film. I've been told it's the scariest film of all time.
Well, there's some kind of cult thing going on, and there's some kind of voodoo thing happening. That's about all I remember. There's like some kind of beast, but there isn't even really a beast thing. I don't know, man.
Average day in DC, I guess.
Get security cameras. That's probably a good idea. Then you'll be able to identify those children. There's probably someone you even know.
Absolutely don't implement spring-loaded shotgun.
Greta! Did you hear that sound? I think it's them kids again! Oh, I knew something right outside! They've got ears of corn flying from here to there!
Get out of here.
Hey, can I get you a kiss? She said it's old man Brown. I'll get you next time. The only thing that would make it better is if they had lit poop on fire on his porch beforehand.
Those kids always setting fire to my house.
Oh, Granny, it's one of them flaming bags again. Don't stomp it out with your boots.
Oh.
Terrible.
It's too early for this.
These kids today, Adam, they've got no regard. No regard at all.
They're always banging on my garage.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's just completely absurd.
Sir, do they take anything? No, they're just banging on the garage.
There's ears of corn every place. The cops come out, I call them. Dang kids. It's twist ending. It's him. He's doing it to himself. He just wants the attention. I'll get the scanner guy to post this up too. Now everybody will think that I'm being terrorized by corn people. In other news, you may remember this young gentleman from gunning down 2 people in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Kyle Rittenhouse, young Kyle Rittenhouse, on trial for his life for fatally shooting 2 people during a protest in Wisconsin last year. His attorneys are currently arguing that the hunting laws allow the teenager to carry assault weapons and use them during shootings. Adam, this is just patently absurd. These defense attorneys must just be pulling on any strings they can tug to get their client off. But who can blame them? Oh, they don't have much to work with at all.
As you mentioned, I read that headline outside. It's fake.
It's fake.
There's a lot more to it than just what they put on there.
No, 100% fake.
But also, I have read The Most Dangerous Game, and that is a pretty fun story. So,
you know, it is. You read The Most Dangerous Game?
And Kyle has played it.
Or have you seen the classic Ice-T film, Surviving the Game?
No.
You've never seen Surviving the Game?
No. I didn't know that was a movie until just now when you said it.
Adam, you have so much to learn.
Yeah, I know. I need to watch the Alamo and the Green Berets and all this other stuff, too. So.
Oh, yeah. All of John Wayne's library.
Demolition Man.
You haven't seen Demolition Man?
Not yet, no.
Oh, my gosh. What have you been doing with your life?
Watching garbage movies.
Me and my neighbor, Andy Malone, we would go up to the hardware store, which was probably like 2-3 blocks down the street. And they had $5, I think it moved up to $5. I think it was like $2 movie rental for a night. And we would rent all of these movies they had. And I remember when because like we were 10 or whatever, we were walking in there written rated R movies. Like, I don't know, you guys should be watching this. Like, it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, right? It should be good. And we'd go watch them, and they were wonderful. Colored my childhood. I believe that was the first time I saw Demolition Man was doing that. So good. Anyway, old Kyle Rittenhouse's attorneys were basically arguing that it isn't against the law to carry a gun in Wisconsin, which I found to be absolutely buck wild and amazing, considering I live in the oppressive state of Illinois, where they have their boot constantly upon me. And it would never be okay to carry a gun unless you had it concealed on your person and you had a special license and etc., etc. But I think you looked it up. In fact, Wisconsin is just like the wasteland from Road Warrior.
No, Zach. Most of the United States is. It's like not even. It's like 40 states. 45 states maybe.
Yeah.
It's most overwhelming majority. Almost all. There we go. Almost all the states.
We need to bring that home.
Absolutely. And this Beetlejuice.
Say it again.
Beetlejuice.
But the way it shakes out is the only laws basically restricting people from carrying guns in the state of Wisconsin are contained within the hunting regulations, wherein their only prohibition revolves around a 12-year-old unsupervised carrying a loaded long gun or something like this. So weird, but once again, it's fake. This ain't real, Jack. They're just trying to sell you a load of crap.
Yep.
Because it's all propaganda lies.
Absolutely.
I didn't even need to read it or do any research to know it was fake. We did it, and we found out it was fake almost immediately. It took about 5 seconds of research. And then apparently news journalists can't do anymore.
No.
They knew it was a lie. Yeah.
Yeah. They're actually lying about it.
That's true. Just like Joe Rogan and the horse paste.
My wife's actually currently listening to that episode upstairs.
Excellent. Yeah, I would recommend looking it up if you guys haven't seen it. But basically, you may recall that Joe Rogan was getting the business because he got the coronavirus but was taking ivermectin. And everybody said that he was basically imbibing horse dewormer because ivermectin is described as an anti-parasitic drug for horses. But conveniently left out of that is that it's also a life-saving drug for humanity. It has saved countless lives. And Joe Rogan...
It's been used for like the past 70 years or something, right?
Yeah, it's like a miracle drug. And Joe Rogan had a prescription and was taking people doses of ivermectin, and CNN itself was out there saying that he was taking horse dewormer. And it was glorious because Sanjay Gupta, some sort of medical expert for CNN, was on Joe Rogan's show. And I don't know anything about it other than this clip I saw. And Joe's like, hey, how do you feel about the news organization you work for telling out-and-out lies, intentional lies, blatant lies? And Sanjay's like, well, they shouldn't have said that. And he's like, no, tell me. Do you think that's okay? How does that make you feel? What do you think about that? And he's like, I think we're moving too fast. I think we should probably talk about something else. And Joe's like, no. We're not
Before we
talking.
get to that,
We're not talking about anything else until you tell me what you think about CNN, a national news organization, telling blatant, provable, out and out lies.
yeah, he picks up. He has the bottle next to him. He's like, "Look at this. This is people medicine.
Yeah.
It's prescribed by my doctor."
He's like, yeah, I can afford people medicine, mother effer. I don't need to take horse paste.
Oh my gosh. Why do people listen to Joe Rogan for health advice? I don't know. Maybe it's because it's not just like outright lies.
Yeah, it's not that Joe Rogan is a genius. He's a self-described moron. He's like, don't listen to me. I don't know anything. He'll tell you right out loud, but he won't lie to you. He'll tell you what he thinks, but he won't tell you any
Yeah.
lies. If he thinks it's not true, he's not going to sit there and talk to you about it.
No.
CNN, on the other hand, apparently, somebody who's supposed to have credibility as part of their, business model, just setting it on fire to push a pro Pfizer Moderna vaccine narrative,
Yeah.
whatever. It's all a
Just
fake.
like, there we go. Second news network we took down this evening. NBC fake. CNN fake.
Hey, let's move on to Forbes then.
Oh, jeez.
So Forbes published this story back in May, apparently. So it turns out that if your employer sends you on remote work, you might find yourself with a lot of time on your hands because your entire job is fake. And so you can just pretend to do your fake job while actually working on something that's important to you. Which is probably not ethical. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to go out and say that you should probably not be
Yeah, I don't know.
taking a check.
You got your 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's definitely not cool, man. Well, and it's also probably a tort. And it's probably also a crime.
Taking naps. I don't know.
I don't know. Hey,
How do you do that?
if I'm at home, I probably just lay down in my bed. I'm not gonna lie.
But it's able to.
I'm not gonna lie. Revealing deep secrets though, but when I was working from home and I took my lunch break, I would sometimes lay down in my bed for like 10 minutes. Shocker. Does that shock you?
Oh, no.
Oh, but that wasn't the worst part. I mean, this is probably fake because everything is fake. But this guy's like, oh, the pure audacity of these people. How dare they live a happy life? This person's using sarcasm to attack. Not even anybody saying that this is bad, but just acknowledging that it exists, that people are actually stealing from their companies and doing not work on work time from home. And this guy's like, actually, they should be doing that because screw big business, man. They should be living their best lives. And I'm like, and I want you to understand that this is the way people think. And that's why if I was running a company, there'd be no work from home nonsense.
I found it very odd. The whole like doing side hustles. Like, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, Zach. If you're able to work two or three 40-hour a week jobs, I don't know. I guess you're right. Your job was fake in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, why were you even hired for like McDonald's corporate, project manager number 3 or whatever? you were also working for John Deere and CVS.
Yes. And it's not like they were
Also
working
as
80
project manager.
hours. But
No,
I've heard this lots of
but
times.
they're
It's like
able to do.
I've got 3 remote work jobs going at the same time or whatever.
I kept on seeing stuff from people. People being like, "I did this," and I don't know. It could have been fake. Probably was.
Probably fake.
But it's also like, I don't know. Maybe they maybe they were able to do that and paint neighbor's house for a couple grand or whatever
Yeah.
while they were supposed to do that.
I don't
And I don't.
understand. Because my job, I have things I have to do, Adam. And I think that you have
Me
things that
too.
you have to do.
Me too.
And so if I just took a week off and started doing something else, someone would be on to me very quick.
I'm trying to think. If you were able, if you were, like I said, if you're hired as like, project manager number 2 or whatever, or level 2, and you're able to get away with it, I'm like, I mean, that might be on the company for that one.
I don't know. I don't understand it at all. It could be a thing where it's
No.
like
You can't be sitting down while doing excellent work. You have to be you have to be standing up. It's like I can do all of this at the same time, and everyone's happy, right? No.
Yeah, Adam's referring to a situation, and it's probably fake. Throw that out.
I don't know. I've seen stuff, in my previous lines of work.
I've lived what they describe in the meme, except for the super based baller. I'm walking out of this job thing because
Yeah.
See, that's what fake. But basically, it's like this: guys working doing piecework in some kind of factory or warehouse or something like this. And he gets a text message from one of his supervisors saying, "Hey, I was checking the cameras out, and I saw you were sitting down on the job. What's up with that?" And the guy, he was basically just hassling him for no reason. And the guy's like, "Hey, I beat everybody in the piecework I was doing. I did more of the things. I basically was elite level as far as your metrics go. And I had permission to do this. And you're hassling me on my off time about sitting down. And you don't even know what's going on." He's like, "Oh, yeah, well, you're being a little disrespectful." He's like, "Hey, you can take disrespect and shove it, because I'm getting out of here." And he's like, "Oh, you don't have to go to leaving. How about you, just, we talk this over tomorrow when you come in." He's like, "Nah, I'm good. Out. See you never again."
And he's like, "Oh no, come on, baby, don't leave."
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, it's totally a thing where it's like there's some arbitrary policy being enforced by some power tripping a-hole that has nothing in life going for them but this little bit of authority over your life. And it doesn't matter about what the goals of the organization are. They're just going to come stick it in your face.
I'm just saying, Zach. I've seen.
No, I've seen this too. It usually doesn't. It's not like this though. That's what I'm saying. It conveniently happened over text message.
No, usually the next day the person comes in, comes to HR and's like, "Oh my gosh, look at this," and like shows the text messages, and HR's like, "Oh, I can't unsee this, and now I have to do an investigation."
Yeah. So I think that it was probably fake,
Pooped
but
in a hard hat.
it stunk. It stunk of reality, like poop in a hard hat. All right, let's check in on Jason Kidd here. Oh my gosh, his collar is still expanding. It's taking over the entire stadium. It's starting to displace the scoreboard.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's structurally unsound. Was that Mark Cuban?
And for that reason, I'm out.
Oh my god.
Oh no, it's erupting through the ceiling of the stadium, Adam. Oh god, they've called in the helicopters to try to end the expansion. Oh no! A violent explosion has destroyed the stadium. I guess we'll have to stay tuned. Oh.
It was ridiculous.
Breaking news, Adam from last week. Breaking news. Biden says, when you see headlines and reports of mass firings and hundreds of people losing their jobs, look at the bigger story. United went from 59% of their employees vaccinated to 99%. Adam, consider the facts. They fired hundreds of people, but they went from having an employee vaccination rate of 59% to 99%.
Oh, yes.
Adam, this makes complete sense. Didn't question anything. Think again. Oh. Not even the
Yes,
logic here, right?
Now, look. They might have some spots to fill, but
they might have hundreds of spots.
99.9% ethnic German, so we're good now.
All the people that stayed that were vaccinated, and all the people that weren't vaccinated got the boot, so now they're at 99%. Hey, this math's out. That's exactly what we wanted. Meanwhile, catching unemployment checks. Unvaccinated Jim and his 100 buddies. Whoops.
No, there's not going to be unemployment checks.
Yes, there is.
There's not going to be for those.
There's definitely going to be.
Legally, there should be.
Yes.
They're going to be denied.
They have to. Yeah, but I mean, like in a year from now or whatever, when the courts finally get a hold of these things, all this stuff's going to be thrown in the crapper. If society still exists, which I'm not.
Yeah, there you go.
It's going to be a thing. Unemployment checks might be a thing of the distant past by next year.
Yeah, maybe. And General Motors will still not be producing their I don't know.
No, General Triggered will be producing single-shot assassination pistols for the resistance forces in Vichy, France.
Back in time.
Oh. But this was before all of the Southwest nonsense happened, I believe. It was before the weather. Right before the weather turned bad, and all those flights for only one airline got canceled. And no one could,
because of weather,
and no one could seem to see through that. It obviously wasn't the weather. If Delta's still flying, but for whatever reason, Southwest. Air traffic controllers.
Oh wait, FAA accidentally put out the press release that they're not having any air traffic controller problems.
Well, not after they called in the National Guard to man those positions or whatever.
Yeah.
We can't have these nurses working if they're unvaxxed in the time of this horrendous pandemic.
Absolutely not COVID related, sick out or walk out. Don't worry about it. It's other things.
But that wasn't the only authoritarian society destroying nonsense that was happening. There was also a debt ceiling crisis that occurred. They finally got it worked out, but at one point in time, they were talking about minting $1 trillion coin.
That just screams fake. I don't know.
Fake.
Why was is it worth $1 trillion? I don't know. It's $1 trillion.
It is, well, because it's fiat money. All you gotta do is you can print $1 trillion $1 bills, or you can print one coin that says $1 trillion on it. And instead of worrying about your debt ceiling at that point, you just use that $1 trillion coin to pay debt. And of course, in this imaginary land, inflation doesn't exist, I guess. Because apparently people don't think it exists.
No, it doesn't.
But
I remember. Zachary, Zachary, hold on a second. I remember I was. I think it was in between summers of law school. I was at the honors program at my college, and I was helping new freshmen with orientation in the honors program. And poli sci, I think they might have been a senior. They came in to do survey. They were looking for people to do surveys, and they were asking about uh, they were asking about different political issues and how what your feelings were on them and whatnot. And so I was like, whatever, because they have class that they got to do. They want information. They got to fill it out. So I'm like, okay, I'll fill it out. So I was going through checking the boxes for what my beliefs and whatever. And one of my coworkers was too, and she's like, "What's this debt? What's this national debt stuff?" And so we're both like, "Oh, it's the obligations that the government has for payment." She's like, "I don't understand. What do you mean they have obligations? What do you mean they owe money?" And the person who was giving the survey was like, "Yeah, they owe money because they have to pay for things and stuff." And she's like, why does this matter? Why are people concerned about this? And I'm like, well, he's like, he gave like a neutral response, like, oh, some people are concerned because then it says that it puts on obligations for additional generations, or that you're going to have to engage in some sort of like revenue raising or whatever. She's like, I don't get it. It's the government? And he goes, yeah, it's the government. And she goes, you just print more money. I don't understand. They have control over the printers. You just print more money, and there you go. And both of us gave each other the look, like, oh my gosh, they don't get it at all. They don't understand even like the arguments. They don't understand it.
I think they might, frankly. And this is what I said when I saw this. I'm like, actually, this is correct. The government could just print the money. And, get this, so I don't want to blow your mind too much here.
All right, I'm getting it, Zach.
You know how we've had these periodic debt ceiling crises? This kabuki theater they engage in like every 6 months or so? That if we don't raise the debt ceiling, we're going to default on the debt. You hear these arguments? Bunch of crap. It's fake. Again. Once again, you pull the curtain back. Fake. Because technically, Adam, they could just mint $1 trillion coin. It would completely devalue the currency. It would ruin our credibility abroad as a reserve currency around the world. And it would cause rampant inflation across the board. But, Adam...
In America or worldwide?
Worldwide. It would cause worldwide economic collapse.
Worldwide economic collapse? That hasn't happened in at least 12, 13 years.
Yes. But they could, at the end of the day, if they couldn't get a deal done, the mint would just start rolling these guys out. And it'd be like, all right, we paid it. We can keep going. And everybody's like, what? Yeah. But you can just print money. And, in fact, I don't even think it would necessarily be all that bad if they started doing it.
Oh, especially if I can pay off my mortgage in an afternoon's wages.
This is what I'm saying. I have a lot of debt. If all of a sudden...
Oh my gosh, why are these student loans and these millennials with their debts, they're idiots, and they should just do it. It's like, I don't know. It seems that I could just forego bread for one evening and then pay off all my debt, and then I'd be fine and squared away.
Those loans are not inflation adjusting.
No, they're not.
They aren't. And as soon as I get my first $300,000 paycheck for a week's wages or whatever, I will just pay off all of them and be like, okay, good luck, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. We're in for a reckoning, and I don't think people realize it. So,
yeah. Well, we have been having outrageous inflation as it is, but it hasn't been like super outrageous. It hasn't been Weimar wheelbarrows of cash to buy groceries inflation.
no, it hasn't even been. I don't even think it's been like 2008 outrageous.
No, but the
We're getting there. We're getting there. But
if we were to print money to get out of debt situations, it would affect. And I heard about this, and I don't know if this is true because once again, everything is fake. In the 80s...
That should have been the title of this episode. Everything's fake.
No, instead the title of this episode is Space Juice. In the 80s, when Reagan came to power in the United States, Japan was a rising economic challenger to the United States. And part of it was that Japan was devaluing its own currency. And again, I have no idea how this works because it doesn't make any sense to me. But if a country devalues its currency, or for whatever reason 1 yen is worth much less than $1, then that's good for the lower countries in the export realm and economically. I don't understand why, because I feel like fungible currencies, if I have to spend 10 yen for $1, but everything else being equal, everything should just cost 10 times as many yen than dollars to buy and sell and whatever. So I don't know why it would matter. But they said it did, and then Reagan came in and he actually took steps to devalue the dollar, and that snuffed out Japan's economic advantage overnight. And we won. I don't know this.
This sounds like magic.
It does sound like magic. I don't think it's real. Once again, it's probably fake, Adam. Don't worry about it.
No, it seriously sounds like magic. Like, you've got two wizards battling about whatever, and it's this fake value that's based off of, I don't know, currency, and then, oh, we won. Did we?
I don't know. I don't know if anything's real or nothing is real. So, as far as I'm concerned. Like I've said before, Adam, the only thing that I know is real is the thing that I can hold in these two hands.
Are those two hands real?
Are they real? Oh. But that wasn't the only thing with the debt ceiling. Apparently, in addition, there was some talk, instead of like doing some easy thing, since this is all fake stuff anyway and debt ceilings don't matter and it's just a political football, why not raise it to $1 quadrillion? And it took 2 weeks from random Twitter cranks talking about that to like it being a news story. Democrats must raise the debt limit to $1 quadrillion. Yeah, why not? Why not 100 quadrillion? I don't know. Why even have a debt ceiling?
I don't know.
Just get rid of this thing. It's a Google. Yeah, it's a Googleplex now. It's Googleplex dollars. We'll be there by next week.
Pretty much it.
Oh. Well, a deal was finally reached on the debt ceiling, Adam. They raised the debt ceiling by $480 billion. The House approved it. The President signed it 22 hours ago. And this bipartisan deal is actually just a stopgap measure, and it's only going to get us to the beginning of December.
They're going to run through... Wait, what?
They're going to run through $480 billion before the End of December.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I could ever. Zachary, I don't think I could. There's no way. I couldn't. I probably couldn't even spend like $1 million if I really tried. You know.
Adam, I don't. It's all fake. What even are they buying?
You've got two months to
in
raise
like a month and a half. They're spending $480 billion.
You've got
debt.
2 months to spend $480 billion. It's like, okay,
this is
you know what? I'll raise a.
This is exclusive of revenue. The debt is increasing by $480 billion in less than a month or whatever.
We have like 370 million people in our country, don't we? 400 million?
It's like 300 and something. 330, I think. Something like that.
Yeah. Every person 1,000? I don't know.
Adam. We're like on a bullet train to societal collapse.
It seems like it's intentional. I mean, I don't know.
Hey, you know they have currently on the table in the Congress multiple multi-trillion-dollar bills for spending and things. FYI.
Yeah. That's where you get the $600 bank account spies or whatever.
That's part of that. Because that's revenue generating to take down billionaires.
It's $600. It's like even if you 20 hours, it's like a part-time job at a fast food restaurant. You know, assuming that. Well, let me rephrase that. 20 hours at like a retail store, right?
Yeah.
$600 in your account. IRS is gonna make sure you pay him.
Yeah, what are they even gonna do? It's just a cash deposit. Are they then going to go to their concurrent withholdings check to see that Zach Clark's employer withheld the? What is that going to be at when you're only making $600 every 2 weeks? What, like $20 of income tax or whatever? Those aren't the guys that aren't paying anyway.
No. Stock up on groceries, stock up on guns and ammo, and stock up on warm clothing.
Oh, I wish I could. The shelves are stupid empty because of the Biden... the Biden supply chain crisis. I can't even buy canned goods, some people say. There's still cans on the shelves in Quincy, I guess, but for how long, Adam? I'm going to go tomorrow and just fill up 2 shopping carts of non-perishables. Well, my money's still good. Did you just spend $600 at the grocery store buying canned goods? Well, now we know who's got them. Boys, raid that guy's basement. Oh.
Yeah, what was that? Follow an author who just published a book that involves like hyperinflation, and his characters went out to the Walmart and just bought goods because the goods would retain its value longer than the money, right? Just buying whatever.
Yeah,
just buying soccer balls and stuff because it would retain a value better than currency.
If you have a bunch of cash, that's what they say in a time of high inflation, because your goods will retain their inherent value. But if you're just buying like a can of beans or whatever, I don't know who's in the bean market to buy secondhand beans, but I guess in the time of societal collapse, there might be a few people on the block that might barter you a potato or whatever.
Ooh, potatoes. You do so much with those.
Yeah. You can.
Hope that they don't get infected.
Well, that's the trouble with like just like root cellared potatoes or whatever, because they won't keep forever. 6 months or whatever at the high end, in perfect environment. Under my sink, they go bad in a month. They start turning black.
start sprouting human eyes
Yeah.
and start winking at you,
Oh god.
blinking at you.
Well, that's an idea. I just need to get a garbage can and start growing them in my, you know, front window. I'll have infinite potatoes. I'm like
Yeah,
Matt
I
Damon
use
on
that.
Mars.
I don't want to be mowing the yard next year. I just want to be like, you know, tending gardens.
Oh, Fred
My
says.
out of necessity.
Fred says the whole $10,000 cash reporting thing was to curb drug money laundering. Yes, there was a 10K thing, and I don't think that's been adjusted ever. But if you have
The SARS.
a transaction, that is just like it's not even a SARS. It's just a $10,000 cash. Any kinds of transactions just have to be reported, and then the banking guys can regulate it, and they can see if it's like illicit activity or whatever. Boop 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 boop. Adam, boop 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 boop. Breaking
Oh
news from last
no.
week. Attorney General Merrick Garland has instructed the FBI to mobilize against parents who oppose critical race theory in public schools, citing threats. The letters
Ooh.
follows the National School Board Association's request to classify protest as domestic terrorism. Oh, the Justice Department and the FBI is going after PTA moms and dads. On top of running up the debt, $480 billion in a month and a half. I guess this is what they're spending that money on, Adam.
Oh, let's see. Feds infiltrating the PTA.
Hello, fellow parents. Would any of you like to kidnap any of these fine school board members after the meeting?
Who wants to? What's the plan? A bombing of the school? Wait, what?
Oh, freaking terrible. Hey, boop, 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 Adam, boop, 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 boop. There's some more breaking news from last week. Just in, U.S. federal government is secretly ordering Google and other search engines to track and provide data on anyone who searches certain terms through keyword warrants.
Wait, that
Don't
was
use
breaking news
Google.
last week.
What?
I thought that was like Obama era Project Prism and stuff.
This is the first time that anything's come out about keyword warrants. Apparently,
Keyword warrants. Okay.
the government is issuing warrants to Google that say, "Hey, if give us any information on users that searched for, oh, I don't know,
General Motors assassination guns.
yeah, diesel fuel and ammonium nitrate."
The Joker.
Anybody
It's about sending a
who
message.
Googled AR-15 in the last 6 months, whatever. The government has been issuing warrants to Google, and they've been turning over your search history. Good thing I was on the Daily Stormer today just to see what they were talking about. I'm on a list.
Oh,
They're gonna be
as you
coming
know,
and
I write
knocking.
fiction. I write fiction, so there's like a whole bunch of stuff that I Google.
Every time you gotta do research or whatever, apparently.
Yeah. The amount of blows a human head can take.
Anyway, all this stuff's adding up.
Killing tyrants. Patriotism.
What's the effective sniper distance for? I need to find the
Secret Service
windage.
detail.
All right, this guy, I don't know. He's some sort
Yeah.
of a right wing crank, but this Jesse Kelly guy says, "Okay, no worries." Because we've got some on CNN talking about how the U.S. should be more like Canada and require vaccine passports for air and interstate travel. Look, you can stay unvaccinated if you want, but you're not going to be able to travel to see your family. Say the fascist authoritarians that have taken over every country on earth. Jesse Kelly replies, Okay. No worries. Just know that if I take power, Dr. Wang won't be allowed to travel either. Anywhere. Only from one side of her jail cell to the other. Y'all have gotten way too comfortable talking like this. Way too comfortable. You better win in the end. And then, Stunning and Brave replies, "Is it time? Is it time?"
Oh, no. No.
Chomping at the bit, because this is the world that people have created. To which this person replied, "Oh,
Oh,
oh,
no. So bad. So bad.
not time yet. Close, close, but not yet."
The ice is still forming.
Soon, though. That's what I'm saying. People are normalizing these authoritarian attitudes. They're normalizing talking about using the force of the state to control people's lives, prevent them from traveling, locking them down in their homes. And they're cool with it. There's like mainstream people on CNN talking about this stuff. If you don't get a vaccine, you can't get a job, and it's fine if you and your family go hungry. You're not allowed to work anymore. Not thinking about all the secondary, tertiary consequences of these sorts of things.
No.
Not.
Those idiots in flyover country, idiots not wanting to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not thinking about when these guys just finally have enough. They're going to start dragging people out, and it's going to be in the next 6 months if this doesn't stop.
And the funny thing, I think you said it to me. If they stop with this vaccine nonsense, all this rhetoric and stuff, it just like kind of goes away.
Yeah, it just fizzles out. It's just like, they're done. And everyone would forget about it and go home. And if you look at the trend lines on this current outbreak or whatever we were having, we're like on the deep downward slope. We're like back like to normal like baseline COVID levels from before this spike.
I haven't even been paying attention, honestly, until like you showed me, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, why are we saying that there's this huge outbreak when it's obviously on the downward?
Yeah. Why are we ramping up all of the restrictions and the rhetoric about how we need to, put the boots to people who aren't getting their vaccines and all this stuff?
Yeah. The subhuman filth.
Yeah.
I think is what people have been talking about.
And let me see if it'll pull up. So I can show you folks. Well, this is just for Adams County, but the trend line follows both statewide and nationally. So you can take from that what you will. There we go. Here we are. Down here. On the far side. See, this was the big one initially.
Back last year?
Yeah, back in November.
Yeah.
And then over here is now. And then if we scroll the timeline over and over and over and over and over and over. This is when the juice started to run again. Delta variant hype. Woo! Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah. I have not seen much talk about the Delta variant.
They stopped chatting about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is where we're at right now. You see how it's about the same as it was when we were down here? Down here where everything was just like rolling. And it was just like, this is just a thing that's going to be around forever now. It's almost like it might be seasonal, like a flu or something.
How dare you?
Wait. They've apparently updated this, but that's the vaccine totals or whatever. But this is the hospitalizations. They had 3 new admissions into the hospital yesterday, Adam. Outrageous. This thing's out of control.
3?
3. They had 17 new cases. It's out of control. Out of control.
I hope those people are okay.
We must implement oppressive vaccine mandates for all Americans, and if you don't get it, you're gonna not be able to go out in public or work in your job, and you're gonna be a pariah. Because this is such a powerful epidemic that we're suffering through right now. This skyrocketing rates. Oh, it's out of control. Oh, Adam.
Jeez, take a Xanax or something.
Fake! It's all fake! Nothing is real that they tell you. It's a good heuristic anyway, just to say, alright, anything you say, I will just absolutely automatically go with the 180-degree opposite of it. I don't know if we've got time to go down this Robert E. Lee rabbit hole, though I want to.
No, we do not have time to go down this Robert E. Lee rabbit hole. We don't. I can tell you right now, we don't have time.
Hey, Adam, did you hear? The new Dave Chappelle special dropped last week.
What?
Yeah, new Dave Chappelle special dropped called The Closer. I watched it and I thought it was quite good. But, as NBC reports, so it's probably fake.
Yeah, we've already disproved the whole network. Our measly little web show has disproved the entire network.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle is being criticized on social media for comments about trans people in his latest Netflix special, particularly a defense of Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling, noted TERF, who has been accused of transphobia for years. And
wait, is that what that says? I can't read that.
Yes.
Is that what that says?
Yes. Well, it doesn't say the TERF thing.
Wait a second. I watched the thing, Zach, and I remember that he was actually like talking about a trans woman that he was friends with.
Yes.
I think her name was Daphne, right?
Yes, 100%. That's correct.
Yeah. And he liked her.
Yeah, they were friends. They got along well. He actually gave her an opportunity to open for him for his show he was doing in San Francisco and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So why would they say this stuff?
Adam, we already covered this. It's absolutely fake. It's true that he was getting criticism, including this responder here that says he's losing audience by the minute.
No, he said right off the bat, like he does not, PG language. He does not give an F. He left $50 million and left. He's like, he's like, you're talking about someone who left $50 million on the bus and just like left. I think he like ran into Africa to find himself or something. He had a mental break, which is understandable, and he just like left money on the table. He's like, I'm out.
Losing audience by the minute. No one watches Dave Chappelle, probably the greatest comedian of our generation, who continues to sell out entire stadiums.
Dude, I watched...
And made Netflix millions of dollars just this last week.
Oh, it's so great. I started watching his show again, and like, he did something, and it was controversial, whatever, on his show. And whatever. He did the thing, and like, his whole audience, like, he brought something on, he like groaned, like the whole thing. He's like, oh, and this, and they're like, oh, and he's like, F you guys, that doesn't. It's so great.
Yeah, he's a genius.
I don't know, laughing, Why do people like Dave Chappelle? I don't know. They all must be white supremacists.
He's a horrible white supremacist, transphobes, bro. Punching down on our people.
Punching down.
Anyway, apparently there's a show called Dear White People that I've never heard of. And I'm probably not sad about that. But a showrunner for this show called Jacqueline P. Moore announced Wednesday that this person would be boycotting Netflix over Dave Chappelle's transphobic new special.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. A white person is going to be boycotting a black person
Yeah,
over their special
because that black person was punching down
on
to
white
trans
person?
people.
Oh wait, Zach, do you have the hierarchy chart about the oppressed people?
I thought black was above trans. Was that not right?
I don't know. I lost track. I think actually, you know what? Now that you mention it, I think
Constantly battling for number one is black people and Native Americans. This is what I thought.
Wait. We haven't said anything about Native Americans in the show yet. Where did this come from? I don't know.
That's my understanding. Black people and Native American, those two things, those put you at the top of the list. And who had a worse shake of it? They constantly get a fight about that.
I've attended. I've viewed webinars for continuing ed, and they have it's talking about like the Stop Asian Hate and stuff, and the people who were of Asian descent were mentioning stuff, and on the panel were also black people, and they when the Asian person spoke, they would say, and I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into who's gotten more oppressed or whatnot. And I'm like, I think this is a weird conversation you guys are having today. This is weird to me. Because like what you just said, they're I don't know. But so here you have it.
When your status as an oppressed person allows you social credit to be able to have license to criticize or to make jokes or to speak on topics, it's very important where you fall in the hierarchy.
Well, that's for the new thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The predominant thing where actually if you're in one of these special categories you get preferential social treatment and protections and all this stuff that goes along with it, and you have people that support you in control of all cultural institutions into the highest ranks of government, that because you're the most oppressed and powerless people in the country.
It's
Adam, haven't you heard anything I've been saying? It's completely fake.
I don't know, Zach. I was actually listening to the black person on the screen. I was listening to him. I was listening to him, and I was listening to his words, and I was laughing, and I thought he was funny.
Oh no, it was great. I thought it was funny too.
And he was criticizing white people, and he lamented on how white people changed rules on him.
It's okay for him to criticize white people. He can't criticize trans people because they fall more protected on the hierarchy than black people. Particularly straight, hetero, cis black men, Adam. Because intersectionality...
like him, right?
I don't know. Like I said...
Oh, I just remembered his coronavirus joke.
Every ounce of this is fake. That was probably my favorite joke of the whole thing. I can't help but think that's happening in my body right now.
I don't get it. Through comedy and food, this is how people set aside their differences. And anyways.
Yeah. But Dave Chappelle's special was excellent. I recommend anybody who's watching this to go give that a watch.
Absolutely. Look at look at user, people who viewed it who aren't critics.
Yeah. Exactly. People just like Ice-T here. about to watch this
Oh, no.
Dave Chappelle stand-up on Netflix. And everybody's like, no, he's the worst, he's transphobic, he hates all of us, he's bad, Ice, you're better than this. And he's like, I don't give a F.
How are you gonna? Oh, I don't know how you're gonna persuade Ice-T to do anything.
No, Ice-T is his own man. He does what he likes. And by the way, I also watched New Jack City for probably the first time in over a decade. And it's wonderful. Recommend. All right, folks. But well, I guess
I
we'll.
don't even know what that is. I don't know why I'm laughing.
New Jack City.
I have no clue what that is.
Back, because we've done so many of these now. We were on a Wesley Snipes kick. Wesley Snipes played a character.
Dude, he was, by the way, his defense for tax evasion was
he sovereign citizen, right? I believe it was a sovereign citizen.
It was something like that.
Wesley Snipes played a character
Snipes
called Nino Brown.
black?
Who basically the arc of the story was that him and his gang were like low timers, but then they got in on the ground floor of the crack scene right before the crack epidemic, cashed in on that, and then were basically a powerful gang in the city. And Ice-T played an undercover cop, a bad boy, who went on a crusade to take them down. It's pretty good. But before our show ends today, we want to go ahead and check in on Jason Kidd's caller. Oh my gosh, it's taking over the entire city. Can it be stopped? It can't. Satellite images show that it is still growing at an exponential rate. It's growing at a geometric rate, Adam. It's the size of the entire Midwest. All of the Earth is now covered in Jason Kidd's collar.
He obviously is elevated.
Richard Branson's rocket ship has been taken out by the ever-expanding collar of Jason Kidd. Wait! Is that still Jason Kidd's collar? Always has been.
That's not even true.
It is now taking up the space in the solar system between the Earth and the Jupiter. All of the gas giants have been subsumed. You may be familiar with this famous quote from Carl Sagan.
Oh, no. I stopped after I saw the Earth.
Look at that dot. That's here. And next to it is Jason Kidd's enormous and ever-growing collar. The Milky Way galaxy. Oh wait, is that the Lord God Almighty on his throne?
Jeez. Why would they?
The collar has begun to subsume all of heaven. It will never end. Oh. But that was the last tweet in that.
That was pretty good.
Alright, folks. That's our show tonight. Really hope you liked it. If you did, like, subscribe, follow us on social media, all the stuff I tell you every time that you never do any of it. But I still love you guys. Don't you worry about it. Adam, did you have anything you'd like?
Please don't leave.
Did you have anything you'd like to add here at the end of the show?
No, I don't. I don't have anything.
You really need to come up with like a brief monologue for these.
I do. I need to have like a,
It's like,
gosh, the Today Show has one.
5 lines or whatever, a closing statement here.
Yeah, I need to do that.
You're leaving money on the table every week. But that's all right, buddy. It's your money to leave out there if you so choose. And I'll leave you with Fred's closing words here. Comedy is like serving dinner to 1,000 people. At least a couple people are not going to like carrots or broccoli or whatever the offering vegetable is. Couldn't be more true, Fred. All right.
Yeah, pretty good. Although, if you add a little lemon squeeze on the carrots, be good.
Honey glaze. Your lemon squeeze is for proles, not for me.
Whatever. I come from humbler origins, Zachary.
Mayhap. All right, folks. We will see you next week, right here on Trigger.